Let's assemble one of the Ikea Billy bookcases like the ones here behind me. Welcome everyone to the Zillotronics channel. Today I will be assembling one of many Ikea Billy bookcases. I actually just recently revamped my entire home office. I took out my old Amazon shelves and replaced them with 13 of the Billy bookcases from Ikea with a height extensions on a majority of them, including 2 of their corner hardware kits. And I had a nice flow factor around my home office, much more streamlined and can hold a lot more volumes of books, manga, comics, absolute editions, and everything else. So let's go ahead and dive right in. As mentioned, I've replaced all of my Amazon bookcases with the Ikea bookcases. Overall, for 13 bookcases, that's 10 of their tall, narrow ones with the height extension kits, as well as 2 of the corner hardware kits and 3 of the shorter shelf setups. Total cost was about $1,000 shipped to my house. Pretty cheap overall for what you get. And so yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to build one real quick, show you guys what's all involved with that. I'll talk you through the process after building 13 of them. I did record the last one that I put together of the taller ones, and I got pretty good at the overall assembly, so I figured I'd go ahead and just walk through it real quick, show you guys what's going on, show you my final setup and how I have everything organized, and then you guys can decide if these are bookcases that will work for you or if you're going to look at a different route. That completes the assembly of the bookcase. Hopefully I did not speed up the footage too quickly for you to follow, but of course you could pause at any time if you need to verify any of the steps involved. As mentioned, that was the 13th bookcase in a row that I put together, and I overall got pretty quick with it. So if you're only doing 1 or 2, I'm sure it might take you a little bit longer to actually get everything assembled. Some of the variables and variations in the different Billy bookcases that Ikea does offer does have some minor differences, but they do offer very good and very detailed instructions on their website and in the box with the bookcases that you order. So make sure you double check your instructions with your bookcase to make sure it is either the same or different from what I showed in my video. I really like how these bookcases turned out, and they've truly transformed the overall look of my home office. Not only do they look great, but they've massively expanded my overall capacity for books, mangas, absolute editions, and everything else. I'm going to go over a couple pros and cons that I've encountered while assembling these 13 bookcases for my home office. We'll start with the pros, and I'll go with 3 of them just to keep it short. But for the first pro is the overall price, consistency, and quality of each of these bookcases. I'm going to kind of group those together as a single pro. But when you order one of these bookcases, you should expect, if you get 1 or 100, they all will arrive in good condition, no damage, none of the hardware will be missing, and each panel, each shelf will be pretty much an identical match, so you don't have to worry about weird variables in color or length or overall quality. Each shelf you build should be just like the other one that you build, with no weird hang-ups or headaches. For the second pro, and one that I had no idea what it was initially for until I actually assembled the bookcase and moved it into my office, is there is actually a cutout, a swoop cutout at the bottom back of each bookcase, and that allows you to push your bookcase flush against the wall, and then that bottom cutout piece will actually be sitting above the baseboards between your wall and floor. So typically most homes will have a baseboard there. This flush cutout will actually sit right over that, and you'll be able to push that bookcase directly up against the wall if you want one of those really nice flush install looks. For the third pro, I'm going to have to say the modularity and adaptability of these bookcases is an amazing feature. The Billy bookcases have been around for quite a long time, and Ikea has truly expanded the overall options that you have when you install the Billy bookcases. If you want to add glass doors, you can. You want to add height extensions like we did earlier, you can do that as well. You want a lighting kit that integrates in seamlessly, that's another option. They have a bunch more, check them out on their website. But yeah, all great different features, and if you jump in the Billy bookcase line, you can continue growing your overall setup and really adapt it to exactly what you want and what your needs are. A quick bonus pro that I found is that you can actually pick up additional shelves with hardware directly from Ikea, relatively cheap, $10 or $15. And now if you have a number of mangas or really short books or anything else that takes up much less vertical height on your bookcase, you can actually buy these shelves, snap them in, readjust your shelves as you see fit, and away you go. It's perfect. I said I'll offer 3 cons as well. It's a little bit harder to come up with some cons, but I did have a few. So for con number 1, one thing I did notice that if you keep rearranging your shelves, because they are semi-modular, you can adjust all of the shelves other than the center one, that you have to pull that little hardware kit. Well, the hardware kit goes in pretty easy, but it's kind of hard to yank them back out of the little hole pegs. And if you do it and you're a little bit rough with it, you might begin chipping away of that particle board or whatever it is, and causing some little bit of wood crumbs or whatever to come down. So if you're doing this a bunch of times, you're really rearranging your shelves a lot, which probably relatively rare, but you need to watch out. You do it very carefully, or you're going to potentially damage it enough where you won't be able to reuse that peg hole to hold your shelf. For my second con, and it's kind of nitpicking, but I did notice that there is a small, for some of them, not all of them, a small gap between the top of your bookcase and your height extension. So if you have a height extension, since it is not a perfect science, when you flush them together, there might be a little bit of a space, and if you're really looking for it, you can see it. It's not seamless, so there's a little bit of a gap. Like I said, it's nitpicking, but I wanted to point it out. My third con is also kind of a nitpicky one, but Ikea does provide spare hardware with each bookcase. Unfortunately, they don't offer a spare component for every single piece of hardware. So you'll get some extra screws, some extra wooden dowels, but you won't get a spare cam or cam bolt. So if you misplace one of those, you drop it and it disappears in the great beyond, you're kind of out of luck, and you better find it because there's no spares. So kind of small, kind of nitpicky, but did want to point that one out as well. Not really a con, more of an observation or complaint or minor quirk or whatever. But one thing I would really like to have seen is us getting the deeper variation of the bookcases. I did read somewhere that I guess in Sweden or Europe, they do offer a deeper version of the Billy bookcases. So if you have really wide books, like some of my larger books or art books, they're wider, they protrude out of the bookcase, and so I have to kind of store them a different way. And so having the option of picking up the deeper version of these bookcases here in the US would be awesome. But like I said, kind of a complaint, not really a valid one for most people. I'll real quick show the final look of my home office with all 13 bookcases in place, and you guys can see how it is. My room is not fully complete, so I still have a lot more to do in organizing, and I have a bunch of stuff still in the middle of my floor, so just ignore that if it does show up on film. But I'll show you guys how it looks with my books, mangas and stuff. I do have some open spaces that I'm going to be filling up with some more books and other things now that I have more room that I need to purchase. So you add more room, you purchase more stuff, you run out of room, you have to get more bookcases. It's an endless cycle of joy, but also pain. So go ahead and show you guys real quick, and we'll wrap this one up. That concludes the video. Hopefully you found it not only informative, but somewhat enjoyable. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Check out my website up here, zilla.com, Z1LLA.com. I'll be putting out more videos and more frequently than I have been on everything from mangas to books to installs and tech, maybe even some gaming and a little bit of everything else. So, hope I see you guys on the next one. Anyways, have a good one.